London, a grey morning, wet asphalt, and the smell of cheap coffee from roadside kiosks. At the jewelry market, pure chaos somewhere between shady shops and pawn houses appears a package that should not be there inside. A diamond of 86 carats, a stone people in this world are ready to kill for. Its journey began in Antwerp there, among surveillance cameras and alarms. Someone pulled off the heist of the century, but instead of falling into the hands of professionals, the stone accidentally ended up in London, and now every criminal can smell blood and money. The first to step on stage are Vincent and Bobby, two losers trying to make money on underground bare-knuckle fights. They are stupid, but stubborn, and they always promise more than they can deliver. Their fighter, whom they put in the main fight, was supposed to win, but instead of victory, a shameful defeat. The money is lost, the debt enormous, and ahead is a meeting with a man one should never lose to. His name is Kasap. In the criminal world of London, this name sounds like a death sentence. Vincent and Bobby found themselves in a situation where one mistake means a grave, and right at this moment, a diamond appears in the city, one that everyone is ready to tear each other apart for. The chaos is only beginning. Vincent and Bobby sit in a dark basement that reeks of sweat, blood, and cheap alcohol on the table. Two half-empty bottles of beer. Both are silent, their faces twisted with fear. The door opens with a metallic creak. Kasap walks in. His nickname is no accident. Once he used to cut cattle at a slaughterhouse, now he cuts people. "You let me down," he said calmly, and in that calmness there was something far scarier than screams. Vincent tries to joke, but his voice trembles. It was a misunderstanding. Our fighter, he slipped. Bobby laughs nervously. Kasap looks at them as if at two cockroaches that can be crushed at any moment. "You have 2 weeks," he says, wiping his knife with a napkin. "Either the money or your guts will decorate this basement." He leaves, and the air seems to become lighter, but it is only an illusion. Meanwhile, on the other side of London, in the camp of Irish gypsies, a fight is being prepared. Patrick O'Connor, known to everyone as Thunder, warms up his fists. His punch is like the blast of a hammer. He fights not for money, but for honor, and he always comes out victorious. The right people notice him, and among them Vincent and Bobby, who feel that this gypsy might become their ticket to life. But there is one problem. The 86-carat diamond has already hit the black market, and another player enters the game. The Russian gangster Sergey Volkov, known as the Wolf, ruthless, cold, and always going to the very end. His men are already on the stone's trail, and the blood in London is only about to begin flowing. Vincent and Bobby stood on the roadside next to a dirty ring stretched right in the middle of the gypsy camp. Field smoke from the bonfires mixed with the smell of beer and cheap cigarettes. Patrick "Thunder" O'Connor stepped into the center of the circle, his shoulders broad, his fists like stone. The crowd roared on the opposite side. A shaved-headed thug twice his size, but Thunder did not blink. The referee gave the signal, and in 2 seconds it was over. One punch, and the bald thug dropped like a sack of meat. The crowd exploded with excitement. Vincent nudged Bobby with his elbow. "There he is, our chance. If we bet on him and bring him into Kasap's fights, we can cover the debt." Bobby smirked crookedly. "If, brother," he agrees. "Gypsies don't like dirty dealers." At the same time, in a dark office above a pub in Whitechapel, Sergey the Wolf Volkov studied the photograph of the diamond. His eyes cold as steel. "This stone will be mine," he said in broken English. "Whoever stands in the way will die." His men had already tracked that the diamond was in the city. The stone passed from hand to hand like a cursed object. Everyone who touched it lost money, friends, or life. The wolf smiled. He knew in this city there are no coincidences, only those who survived and those who got buried. At night, Vincent and Bobby went to the gypsy camp. Around the bonfires, people were dancing. Vodka poured like a river. They found Patrick. "We have an offer for you," Vincent began, but in the gypsy's eyes a spark of distrust appeared. I don't sell my fists, he answered, unless it's about a real game. Vincent and Bobby exchanged glances. They knew if they lost the chance to make a deal with Thunder, they would lose their own lives. And somewhere nearby, two Jewish jewelers, who had accidentally gotten the diamond, were packing it into a suitcase to sell to a reliable buyer. They did not yet know that the wolf was already hunting them, and that all the roads of the city were about to converge into one bloody line. The 86-carat diamond, its brilliance blinds, but in truth it brings only death. Two jewelers, the Levi brothers, sat in a cramped workshop in Golders Green. They nervously turned a suitcase under the table inside. A stone worth more than their lives combined. We must sell it as quickly as possible, said the elder Joseph. But to whom? Replied the younger David. All the buyers are criminals. They don't pay, they take. Silence, only the ticking of an old clock, and suddenly, a knock on the door. Too confident a knock for it to be a client. At that moment Sergey, the wolf Volkov, was already sitting in a black Mercedes near the same district. His men were waiting for a signal. They are fools, he said, lighting a cigarette. They think they can sell the stone on their own. He exhaled smoke. Tonight I will take it. On the other side of the city, Vincent and Bobby once again met Patrick Thunder. They laid out money before him. The last they had. We don't ask for much, said Vincent. Only one fight. If you win, we get into Kasap's circle and pay everything back. Thunder looked at them with contempt. You play your little game, but you don't know the rules. He stood, clenched his fist, and struck the wall. Plaster crumbled in chunks. I agree, but not for money, for the fact that this city already reeks of war. In the Levi workshop, the door finally opened. On the threshold stood the wolf. His cold eyes swept across the room, as if he already knew where the suitcase was. Good evening, gentlemen, he said with a cynical smile. You have something that belongs to me. Joseph gripped the suitcase as if he could hold the diamond away from death, but death had already stepped into the room. The workshop of the Levi brothers, a cramped room. Piles of dust. The smell of tin and hot metal. The wolf stood in the doorway. His men followed inside, submachine guns under their jackets. Cold stares. The stone, he said shortly. Joseph trembled, but still held the suitcase. We made a deal with a buyer. He tried to justify himself. He will pay honestly. The wolf smiled. Honestly, in this city, he nodded to his men. The first shot rang out muffled. The bullet struck David in the chest. He wheezed and collapsed to the floor, spilling blood everywhere. Joseph screamed, but clutched the suitcase even tighter. The wolf walked closer slowly, as if savoring the moment. You could have given it away clean. Now it will have to be dirty. At that moment the workshop door was kicked open. 3 masked thugs with guns burst inside. They too knew about the diamond. A shootout erupted, the walls riddled with holes, shards of glass pouring from the showcase, tools crashing to the ground. Joseph, not even knowing how, dove into the chaos and ran out into the street with the suitcase in his hands. The London night tore apart with sirens and screams. At the same time, Vincent and Bobby sat with Patrick in a pub, negotiating the coming fight. The TV in the corner showed the news. A reporter spoke about an armed attack on a jewelry workshop. Patrick looked at the screen, then at Vincent and Bobby. You dragged me into a dirty game, he said quietly. This city doesn't smell of war, this city smells of death. On the other side of the street, Joseph ran with the suitcase in his hands, choking on fear. He did not even look back when the wolf's black Mercedes sped after him. The diamond was changing its owner, and every step of its path left a trail of blood. Nighttime London rain hammered the asphalt. Neon spilled across the puddles. Joseph ran, clutching the suitcase as if his heart were inside it. Behind him roared the engine. The wolf's black Mercedes sped down the street, swallowing puddles. The wolf sat in the front seat, eyes cold, hand resting calmly on his pistol. Chase him, he ordered.